Hello, Uganda.
Welcome once again to A Moment with Caesar on URA TV. My name is Yoshani Oshima. Today, we host an international world customs specialist, a person that has worked with the URA for the last 20 and plus years. And also, on a special note, we shall be talking about duty remission. With me is Rubanga, a person that is going to share with us his experience. Mr. Rubanga, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thank you, Joshua, and it's such an honor for me to be hosted on URA TV. And all of you who are watching, I greet all of you, and really, I wish you wonderful watching as we interact with Joshua on the duty remission topic.
And of course, as I told the people that are viewing URA TV, that you're going to be speaking about duty remission. But let us start from your experience as a person that has worked as a customs officer and many other positions. What briefly describes Rubanga?
Yeah, thank you, Joshua. Like Joshua said, I'm called Rubanga Alex. That's the name. People like calling me Alex, although of course the full name is Alexander, but I'm okay with Alex as well. I'm currently the manager, Tarrif, in the Customs Department and the Trade Division. I've worked with URA for 29 years.
29.
I joined URA in 1995. So, and I think this is my first job. I've never worked in any other place other than URA.
That is interesting.
And I think working in URA has always been my passion. I am a married man. It's very important people know I'm a married man. But I also do other things other than working in URA. I'm also a pastor. I preach the word of God. I'm also a sports enthusiast. Maybe in terms of experience, indeed, like he was calling me a world customs expert. Yes, because of my wealth of experience, I've done so many accreditations with the World Customs Organization. I'm a leadership and management development advisor. I do some leadership management advice on behalf of the WCO for the different member countries of the customs family. But also, because of my experience and the wealth of knowledge I have, I've done training in so many subtopics. I'm an expert in rules of origin, and I'm an expert also in tariff classification. That's why I'm the manager Tarrif. I guess that's why I got the job as manager Tarrif. Yeah, I've quite got a bit of experience, yes.
You said you've been here for the last 29 years. How has it been like being in URA for 29 years? Where did you start from in the URA? Like that process?
Yeah, I remember when I finished university, my career in 1994. Fortunately, that year, they advertised for positions, and at that time, they were recruiting many people. So I applied for a job in URA. That is in 1994 towards the end. And then our interviews were in 1995. So I was lucky to be among the few URA staff who joined and was appointed on that day. In fact, my cohort, the people I joined with, was the former Commissioner General, Doris Akol. She was part of my group. Yeah, so that's how I started my journey in URA. And I started incidentally, Joshua, as a human resource officer before joining customs.
So from human resource to customs,
yes.
How did it come?
Now, what happened is that in 1998, after about 3 years, I think management came up with the policy of trying to rotate. And also I think customs needed some bit of additional staff. And at that time, they were not recruiting yet. So I was one of those who was actually picked and transferred to the Department of Customs. You know, going to customs was a position people would crave to go to. And so when I went there, people thought I asked to go to customs, but no. My passion initially was in human resource, but I was very glad to be one of those who was posted to customs because of my international trade affiliation. I like customs, I like international trade. So that's how I journeyed and I went to customs.
So let's speak to your journey in customs. What have you done so far in customs?
Yeah, thank you so much, Joshua. When I joined customs in '98, and My first posting was in Malaba, of course, and then I worked in Malaba for about 2-3 years. Then I came back to Kampala. I went to different stations. Now, my biggest achievement, what I can say, my experience that I cherish, is that I've been involved in quite a number of initiatives in the customs department. One key one I remember when I was posted to Busia. I was the one-stop border point project which started, which you now see in Busia. I supervised that project with my team and of course with the support of management, and then I was able to deliver that project. But also, I was a customs trainer. Because of my experience and wealth of knowledge, I was a trainer in tariff classification, which I did not only in Uganda, but I also did that for the EAC. And I was one time contracted as well by the EAC to go and do training in Burundi twice. I also happened to have the privilege, in addition to my work, to also develop the East African Community Customs Training curriculum. And I had the privilege of working with the current Commissioner of Customs as part of the team. And it's something that I pride myself with. And of course, apart from that as well, I've been also a negotiator for the African Continental Free Trade Area, where I was the chief customs expert for Uganda. So for the time we negotiated and we delivered. But I've also negotiated so many other programs like the COMESA Treaty, COMESA Initiative, the Tripartite Free Trade Area. And then of course, finally, I think I've done something for the WCO, where I've been accredited as a Leadership and Management Development Advisor. I've done missions in Nigeria for Nigeria Customs. I've also done a mission in Mauritius for Mauritius Revenue Authority. So I do management training for senior officers, not senior management, but from assistant commissioners and above. But also, we've been running a program, a similar program for URA. But I've also been involved in terms of my work, tax policy, tariff management, things to do with duty remission, which is the topic we are going to handle right now. So those are some of the initiatives that I think I've been part of. But also, I've been working with URA for a number of things. I was one of the team that developed the current corporate integrity enhancement policy. I was nominated by my commissioner.
Does it mean you are a change agent?
Yes, exactly. I've done a lot of change programs for URA. I think because of my energy, my enthusiasm, and my disposition, I've been called upon to serve in change management initiatives. I've done so many over the years. So I've done a lot beyond even customs.
So let us now look to today's gist and move into this. You're a manager at Tarrif, and now let's speak to duty remission. What is duty remission, and how does it come into your experience?
Thank you, Joshua. Duty remission is what we call a reduction of duty for imports of raw materials or inputs that are used by manufacturers to manufacture products. We, as the EAC, under the East African Community Customs Union Protocol, we have the East African Community Common External Tariff. A tariff is basically a rate of duty. Now, the rates of duty that are used for importing goods into the EAC are 4 bands. We have 0%, 10%, 25%, and 35%. And then there are those that are on the sensitive list that are above 35%. Now, what happens is that because the Council of Ministers, as provided for under Section 140 of the East African Community Customs Management Act, provides that they will grant duty remission for manufacturers to import raw materials that they use. So that's actually how it happens to fall under the docket of tariff. That is the section I handle. So that's how I get involved with duty remission.
When did this come into play?
Yeah, duty remission, as I said, it's a provision within the EAC Customs Management Act, which came into force in 2004. The EAC was revived. We had the EAC which collapsed in 1977. Then it was revived again in 2000. And at that time, there were 3 countries. Then it is in 2000, then the process of developing the instruments took place and finally culminated into the development of EAC Customs Management Act in 2004. It is then when the duty remission began. Right from 2004, we've been running the duty remission. It's a scheme that is applicable in all the partner states of the EAC.
So when we speak about reduction of duty, does it mean that if I'm a manufacturer and I'm making a certain product, let's say I'm making water and I'm importing, I will not pay anything to URA or to the government of Uganda, to you?
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. I can give an example. If you are, for instance, manufacturing beverages. Now, to manufacture beverages, we have what we call odoriferous substance. These are ingredients that you use to manufacture beverages. So if you look at the rate of duty for those substances, those elements, those products that are used to manufacture beverages, odoriferous substances, in the common external tariff, the import duty is 25%. Now what happens is that if you're a manufacturer, this, within the EAC, the Council of Ministers are the ones who agree on what they will remit duty on. So now when they agree, they approve the list. Now that list, once it's approved, then manufacturers in the different countries apply through the Commissioner Customs, and then they eventually gazette it. So that is exactly what it means, that instead of paying, say, 25%, you end up paying zero, because the remitting is just like to reduce from 25 to zero. Normally it's done yearly, annually, and it can be renewed every other year. And that's why every year the partner states meet, the Council of Ministers meet to approve those lists which are submitted by the partner states. And then that's when now the manufacturers apply. That's how it works. So it's a reduction. A raw material which ordinarily would be 25%, you can pay zero. Or if the import duty is, say, like 10%, you pay zero. So you can remit it from any tariff rate to a rate which is lower than what is in the common external tariff.
Rubanga, you have a 29-year experience in customs. Uganda needs the revenue to develop this country. So why are you doing this?
Yeah, that's quite a very interesting question. The question would be, what would be the objective of the remission of duty? Now, let me take you back to the strategy, the economic strategy of this country.
Okay.
Even if you look at the current theme of the budget, the current budget, it is full monetization of the economy through commercial agriculture,
yes,
through industrialization, of course expanding and broadening of services, digital transformation, and market access. Now, duty remission, whereas you remit the duty, it helps our manufacturers become competitive by importing raw materials or inputs and therefore producing goods that are cheaper. Now, this makes our goods competitive, okay? Now, when our goods are competitive, remember it also encourages export promotion.
So what do you mean when you say competitive?
Meaning that our goods will be cheaper than imported goods. And so they will compete favorably. So people will prefer to buy our own local manufactured goods than the imported ones, which are expensive. Now, what does that do? You see, there's a relationship between international trade taxes and also domestic taxes. When industries grow and they mushroom, then you find out that they may not have paid import duty, but because of the increase in productivity, then domestic tax collects VAT, income tax. So there's a relationship between that. But also you see, like I told you, when you make our goods competitive, then you can also export. Now when you export, what are you bringing to the country? You're bringing foreign exchange, isn't it? But also you're accessing other markets in the region. So it helps. And you know, the economy, you have to balance these tax policy measures. One, you encourage investment, but also out of that investment, you're getting employment. People are paying pay as you earn. You know, most of these industries recruit people. You're giving a job, pay as you earn, we are getting that. We are getting income tax, corporation tax. So you see that there's a benefit as well, which is translated. And all this is collected by URA, and we put them in the coffers as a strategy.
When you say, you're saying we're getting VAT, we're getting foreign exchange, so which people are supposed to be getting? Is there a certain threshold, maybe to say industries or factories that are having this capital are the ones to get, or every manufacturer can access this?
That's a very good question. The eligibility for this duty remission scheme facility is any manufacturer.
Wow.
As long as you are in the process of manufacturing goods. And you see, the duty remission has what we call the duty remission regulations, but also it has the duty remission manual of application. It defines manufacturing as any way you are converting a product from one into another. It even simple mixing, simple reconstitution, bending, cutting and forming another product, that is considered to be manufacturing. So anyone who's involved in manufacturing, it doesn't look at, of course, what has to happen is that there are criteria you need to look at. You must be someone who is compliant in terms of your tax obligations with the URA. Yes. You must be, for example, VAT registered. Then we must also see that you've got a demonstrated capacity to be able to manufacture. Because we don't want you to just simply import raw materials cheaply and then you end up selling it. That constitutes an offense. So it's eligible as long as you've got all the qualifications, as I said, the parameters. We have visited you and you have a factory and you're manufacturing, you're entitled to that.
Remember, you're still watching URA TV. My name is Joshua and I'm here with Rubanga, our manager Tarrif. We are seated at Golf Course Hotel. That's where we are doing our show from. And now my question comes. Manufacturers, how is URA controlling to make sure that these people, what they import as raw materials is exactly used in factories and not taken into the market to compete with goods, with people that have paid tariff?
Yeah, thank you. Now, yeah, that's a very good question. Like I said, you must be eligible, and I gave you the criteria. And the taxpayer, what normally happens is that before taxpayers take benefit, we normally notify them and ask them to express interest. There's what we call expression of interest. Last week we were having an engagement with UMA to try and sensitize them about that. So we normally send to Uganda Manufacturers Association to notify their members or anyone who can come to know them. By the way, some manufacturers are not members of UMA, but we just find a way of notifying them. So they are supposed to notify us and apply. Now, one of the things that they have got to do, we give them conditions. One of the conditions is that they must be able to file returns of how they have utilized these raw materials. But also we visit these factories to confirm that the factories exist. But also they're required to give us their input-output coefficient to show us, when I bring in these raw materials, how much of the raw material do I use to manufacture one product? Then we also have to check their compliance history. We look at their registration, whether they are VAT registered and they are filing their returns. We coordinate. Now, all this, and then we have a whole division in customs known as customs audit. The purpose of the customs audit division is to ensure that they audit these companies regularly. Because whichever company is gazetted, these gazettes, that normally what happens is that when these companies are given a remission, then they are gazetted by the Council of Ministers through the EAC Secretariat. So customs audit picks these companies. They can check them through the system, and then they can do audits. Now the purpose of audit is a compliance check. So that's how we monitor them, through audits, through ensuring that they're filing regular returns of how they're utilizing their products, through regular visits, because we even tell them they need to also give us their convenient time for us to visit them. So we normally do all those normal checks as a way of compliance. But also we work with their apex body, Uganda Manufacturers Association, and we continue doing engagements with them to sensitize them, to tell them that compliance is very important. And by the way, should we find out that you're non-compliant, we revoke that remission. The other thing we do is that when we establish, for instance, that some of the raw materials you imported, you diverted them, we demand that you pay taxes, but then you also pay a penalty of 10% of the would-be duty. You get the point? So you see that all these are measures we let them know, so that when we let them know, they are aware that there are compliance obligations that they have, and we keep on checking on them. Yeah, those are some of the ways we control them.
Duties, they have paid, they have cleared, goods are here. Let us speak to a common Ugandan out there. How has a common Ugandan out there benefited through duty remission?
The common Ugandan has benefited through the duty remission in the sense that you now have access to some of these products cheaply. if I can take you back, some of us who have been in this country for some time, during Idi Amin's time, you remember when Asians, Indians left, the economy went to the doldrums. We never had even basic items in the economy. I also record when Obote one regime came from 1980 to 1985. There were still basic products. Sugar. We used to line up for sugar. They used to give sugar through Mayumba Kumi, through the LC system, because there was scarcity of commodities. But now we see we have a number of factories that have mushroomed. Like I told you, right, the manufacturing sector alone contributes to 30% of the GDP of this country. And that's a huge investment. We now have products you can get easily available. You get soft drinks, you get finished products, you get cooking oil, you get soap manufacturers, you get even farm implements. Right now, even vehicles are being assembled in this country. Motorcycles are being assembled in this country. You have these borders you see. These are because of some of these remissions that we are making these people produce and sell them, and people can access them. So the common man benefits also in the sense that once the factories establish themselves, they are getting jobs. That's giving them employment, it's giving them income. The common man is benefiting. But this duty remission, by the way, helps a number of farms to be able to build capacity. A number of people we've got technology transfer, because like I told you, you attract foreign investment. When they come and they bring in technology transfer, there are so many Ugandans who have got skills. If you look at the presidential initiative on skilling of the citizens of this country, it's giving a lot of benefit. So there's so many benefits that the common man can benefit from.
Let us speak to the varieties of duty remission. Does it mean that if the goods are manufactured here through duty remission, they can be sold across East Africa without any problem? The types.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's a good question, Joshua. Yeah, there are two types of duty remissions. One of them is called country-specific remission, and then there are regional remissions. Now, the country-specific remission is where any partner state within the EAC can identify products that is strategic to their economy. Okay?
So those are joint.
Yeah, these are within, like Uganda, for example, can identify some products that are strategic to our economy, and they submit that list to the Council of Ministers that for us as Uganda want to remit duty on the following goods. As Uganda, they will provide, the Council of Ministers can approve that. Now, that is called country specific because it's based on a request by a partner state. Now, the condition therein is that when you make products using that raw materials, then those goods will not, the final product will not access the regional market free of duty. You'll have to pay duty in the other partner states. Do you know why? It is because it is only you who are enjoying the duty remission benefit. Other partner states are not. So we want to have a level playing field. They said, fine, you can enjoy it, but let it help you in your economy, or you can export. That is country specific.
So
but
you mean with a moment?
Yeah.
You mean with country specific?
Yes.
So if I have obtained duty remission on this specific product.
Yes.
Let's say it's this tie,
Yes.
and I've obtained duty remission to make it.
Yes.
And it's country specific. I cannot take it to Kenya or Rwanda. If I take it there, I will have to pay the tax.
Yeah. You can take it, but you'll have to pay the common external tariff rate.
Okay.
That is in terms of that product. Even if I'm making, for example, maybe a garment, and I've got some duty remission specified to me, that garment, like you're saying, when I make it, I can sell it within Uganda without any problem. In fact, there's a confusion that people tend to make. I need to make this clear. Because you see, there's a misunderstanding, a misconception that what is provided for under that condition is that when these goods are sold in the region, in the partner states, they will attract duty. It means when they are sold in other partner states, not in Uganda. Because we've had situations where sometimes there are people who are demanding taxes even when you sell them within Uganda, saying that, no, it says that when you are sold in the region here means other partner states. Now, that is country specific. That was a very good example. Now, the regional duty remission is what is provided for all partner states.
That's the second type.
Yeah, I can give you an example of sugar for industrial use. It's one of the examples of items that are regionally remitted, meaning that even Kenya can enjoy that duty remission. By the way, the remission on duty. Duty currently on sugar is 100%, or I think 100%, or yes, 100%, or 350 per ton, dollars per ton, meaning that you have to pay, but it's remitted for manufacturers only to 10%, meaning you pay 10%. It's only recently that Uganda raised our threshold to 25% import duty, but still it's a benefit from 100 to 25%. But now that one, like I said, the 10% is regional, which means that any other partner state has the same benefit. In that case, when I'm making beverages where I used sugar for industrial use and enjoyed remission, I can sell freely to the other partner states. That is an example of a region. It's like any other product. As long as it's on the regional remission list, the products you make, the final product, you can sell it freely. But you now must subject it to what they call the rules of origin. Rules of origin are basically rules that confirm that this product originated or was made and manufactured in a country. There's another instrument known as ESC rules of origin. So they must comply, meaning that the partner states have to generate what they call certificates of origin. So as long as they qualify, you enjoy. So that's the difference between country-specific remission and then regional remission. Remission regionally is when all the other partner states are enjoying that duty remission, they are free to circulate the goods, transfer them within the EAC. But if it's only country-specific, like when Kenya alone is enjoying certain specific duty, remission, whatever products that they're selling to other partner states, we shall target them to make sure that they pay the common external tariff. However, lastly, you can have a duty remission which is the same for 3. The ESC has 8 partner states now. But of course, the effective ones are 5. The others are still trying to work out their instruments. So what happens is that you may find that out of the 5, like say Uganda, Rwanda, Kenya, Tanzania, and Burundi, if 3 of them ask for the same remission, then those 3 are free to trade freely among themselves. But the other 2 who did not take benefit of that, whenever these 3 are exporting or transferring goods to them, they will attract duty. And by the way, when we are trading among each other, we don't call it exports because we are considered one customs territory. It's called transfers, one to the other. So that's really how the duty remission works.
I wish to take you back a bit to speak to the quantities. 2004, this scheme started, and we are now in 2024. That means it's 20 years now. So how many were there in the beginning, if you could remember, and now what are the numbers?
Yeah, currently for the part of Uganda, there are about between 300 and 350 manufacturers benefiting from the duty remission scheme. Yes, but prior to that, we started with a very small number of about 150. Because as you know now, more factories have come up because of a deliberate government policy to attract investment in this area. So we started with a smaller number of around 100, 120. And I remember at that time before this was granted, the ESC did what we call an inspection, a verification mission among all the partner states. So, but you can see the number has now grown to around 350.
If I can remember well, the last time I checked in UMA details, I could find they're around, the manufacturers are in thousands. So why are the beneficiaries still in hundreds?
Yeah, that's a very, very important question. Because you see, like I said, this is a facility that is granted on application and on interest. And then 2, you may find out that some of the manufacturers actually are sourcing their raw materials locally. It doesn't mean that every manufacturer has to import raw materials. There are so many manufacturers who are actually using local raw materials. And I think that's one of the things that government is trying to encourage. Value addition. Get the local items. And now these are the ones that actually have to source the raw materials outside. But it's true, there are many manufacturers, but not all of them necessarily are manufacturing using raw materials coming from outside. So that's really the main reason. Yeah, there are those who are manufacturing and they're using raw materials. I can give a number of people who are doing, for instance, there are those who are manufacturing, making chairs. They go to roofings and buy materials from roofings. They go and buy bars. There are those who go and they're making containers. They go and buy material. They go and buy the materials that are made here. Others even go to Southern Range, Nyanza, and buy the fabric. Because Southern Range, Nyanza, makes fabrics. So you can go and buy fabrics from there. Then you have your small, industry that is manufacturing garments. So that is normally what happens.
We are still on a 29-year story on revenue mobilization, and that is Rubanga's story. So let's now cross over and say, what could you tell a manufacturer out there that is still threatened and feels like, oh, this could be for the rich or something? How are you streamlining the system to make sure it's accessible to every other manufacturer in this country?
Yeah, I think that's very important. And let me inform and speak to all the manufacturers out there that as URA, our mission and purpose is to facilitate legitimate trade and to facilitate our importers with all the benefits, because this is in line with the government agenda in the National Development Plan 3, which is coming to an end this year as we embark on the National Development Plan 4. And this is for purpose of industrialization. As I said, in our current budget theme for the year, it's a very key component. So we want to encourage all manufacturers that there are facilities that are available. You can work together with Uganda Manufacturers, or you come to us in URA. We shall be able to avail all the information, all the inquiries you need, and we can hold your hands to see how we can even guide you on taking benefits of these things. So don't feel shy. Come to us. Some of these things we are going to put them on our URA websites, but also if you go to the East African Community website, you can find a number of these provisions there. We're expecting, for example, the EAC Gazette for the next financial year to come out, say, by the end of this month. So be on the lookout for the benefits that are there. They say that when you don't have knowledge, at times you lose out on opportunity. But once you've got information, then you can take benefit of what is available. So we want to encourage you that all the manufacturers out there, you engage with us. We shall be able to facilitate you and provide you all kind of information to support you. Any questions you ask, you can come to us. You can have a discussion. You can come and visit your premises and advise you on how you can take benefit from this. So that's really the message, Joshua, I want to give to our esteemed manufacturers or anyone who is listening who wants to start any business. Even if you are starting up, we can still give you guidance on how to benefit. There's so many other areas you can be benefiting.
Please don't say that government of Uganda has not done it for you. Go get it and make sure you do the right thing. Okay, this is a journey, highs and lows. What has been that point? The low one? Probably.
Yes. Let me begin with the low ones. I think maybe the low one would be that there are times when you have an ambition and you've got an expectation to be somewhere at a certain time, but then somehow you find out that you may not get the opportunity coming your way. And of course, that is a low. Nobody does not want to always achieve a higher mark. So those sometimes have been the lows. But like I said, sometimes when you're patient, you'll always get to where you want to be. And of course, sometimes the low moments have also been that, you see, when you're working in some of these spaces, you need to work as a team. But normally sometimes where there's no proper teamwork, then you find out that we cannot achieve our objectives. So really, some of the moments of lowness have always been where you find that there's no teamwork, there's no consultations, there's no coordinated involvement in terms of the way we do our business, the way we work. So my appeal is just that, we need to know that we are all URA, we are all one team, and therefore our achievement and success, we win together and we lose together. So if there's anything that needs to be done, or what you've observed, share it out, work together with the team. So I think that can be what I would say really is the law. But I don't think I want to dwell so much on the law, because I don't think I have so many low moments. But my moments that I cherish more are the
I actually wanted to ask you, in those laws, what has kept you moving?
Yes. Now, what has kept me moving, like I said, is my faith. I'm a man of faith. Like I told you, I'm a man who is a God-fearing man. I'm a preacher. And normally the word of God always encourages me. And through prayer. And you see, once you've got that, it always makes you positive. And I think that is what the good hallmark of my character is that I'm always positive in every circumstance. There's a way in which I pick myself up, and I always know that tomorrow will be better than yesterday. So that has been my drive, and indeed it has worked well. And I really want to thank really the support I've got from management, from the leadership of URA, from my commissioner, the assistant commissioners. I've been working with managers, colleagues in the department, and even in the organization. I think that made me love working in URA, and it's something that I'll always cherish. Yeah, that's why URA has been my home, I told you, for the past 29 years. I've made so many friends, so it has been a wonderful journey for me, really. And I would really, I would not trade URA for any other organization. So I really cherish my moment in URA. That's been a wonderful time.
That good moment,
yes,
when you were excited and saying, wow, I've really made it, I've achieved it.
Yes. I think one of the biggest moments I had was when I was appointed a manager, Tarrif. I tell you, I was so excited. After quite a bit of a struggle, I became a supervisor. Even when I was applying for the job, I was like, really, will I be able to get this job? But I want to thank management for believing in me. I think I impressed them when I was at the board. And I tell you, that day, when I did the interview, I went back home and I slept because I didn't know what was going to come. I had butterflies in my eyes. But when I got a first call from one of my colleagues in office, I'm like, are they giving me bad news or good news? I think that was one of the best moments of my life. That was in 2020, October 2020. I think I loved that. But the other best moment I think I have is when I passed through a very rigorous, like I told you, accreditation process to become a leadership and management advisor, development advisor. And we were competing with people from Europe, from Asia, from other African countries. And I was the first to be accredited. The others are still in the process of accreditation. And I did it once, and it is not something that you do, people normally go through it first time. I thought about myself that, this black man from Uganda here. So I think I was so thrilled. And even up to today, they still call me and to do for them some missions. And I think very soon I'm also going to do a mission in Brussels. So I really feel happy and proud for the opportunity that URA has given me, especially my leaders, my managers, my commissioner, and all the management of URA, my colleagues, for giving me this platform to enable me to excel and shine. So I think those are the moments of greatness. And then, of course, like I told you, when I delivered the OSB project in Busia, that was great. And plus the different engagements. And then, like I told you, championing the cause of URA at the African Continental Free Trade Area, where I negotiated it. And I got even an award. The commissioner of customs at that time recognized me for my achievement, and it was the commissioner's award. You can imagine where the commissioner surprises you in the morning in a meeting, and they are reading names of people to be awarded, and I was awarded. And he got feedback in the continent as he kept on moving around that there's an officer called Alex who is very smart. He has lifted the name of URAI. So those are moments I cherish, and they were very high moments for me. Thank you.
Will you jump out of URAI minute and go to maybe the outside world? What do you do when you get out of office?
Yeah, that's now good. See, on a light note, yes. You see me, I'm a customs officer, but I'm also a sports enthusiast. First of all, I like sports. I like football. And outside URA, apart from my preaching work, I also participate in sports. By the way, I was one of the founders of URA Football Club. I was the first general secretary of the URA Football Club. But I also, I do sports. I'm in motor rallying. I've got a club, not mine, but I'm part of a club, and I'm a patron of that club. It's called Constar Racing. And in the last motor rally, we were third on the podium, the Pearl of Africa. But apart from that, also, of course, I'm a family man. I like helping people, the needy, those who are, I do a lot of charity work to help people who are, disadvantaged. I've been supporting a number of people. There are people I pay school fees for. There are people I support them with even whatever little I have. So I think those are the things that I do outside URA. It makes me happy to see people are happy. It makes me happy to see that people's lives are lifted up.
You know that we are ending the financial year?
Yeah.
What's your pledge towards hitting this target?
Yeah, like I told you, one of the things that I'm a man of faith. Today we had a meeting, as you see, the Commissioner General came and had a meeting with the customs team, and we gave him our pledge that we are very positive, we are optimistic. We are going to do our best. We are going to do our best, and we are working tirelessly. There are strategies that the department has put in place to see to it that we change things around. And we also had the guidance from the Commissioner General, particularly on aspects of turnaround time, where we need to make sure that we speed up clearance of goods, whatever that are there. So we are confident that through the hard work and the commitment, people are working late. You go to DPC, you go to different offices, people are there working to make sure that they really bring the revenue. And so we are going to do it, of course, plus prayer. We are trusting God that what is impossible for man is possible with God. But of course, also God blesses the works of our hands. So we are really optimistic. We are not going to give up at the last moment. In short, we are going to hit the target. I am believing, I'm having faith. That's my hope.
And really, when you say people are working nights, people are working what?
Yeah.
That means the taxpayer is the winner in this.
Exactly.
I want you to encourage the young people out there who are joining business and also who are aspiring into career, how to lead their careers and their lives in business.
Yeah, thank you for that. I want to encourage the young people who are out there, and you are setting up your business, you are trying to make it in life. One is that you must have a purpose. You must have a clear goal, and you must have passion for what you're doing, and avoid things that would distract you. And business is something that requires a lot of discipline. Discipline is very key in what you're doing. Avoid wastages, because if you're not focused, then you can find yourself diverted in this and that, and you don't achieve what you want to do. But also, the most important thing I want to say is that in whatever you do it with integrity. Do it with the integrity and honesty. Because you see, in business, most people fail because at times they are not honest in the way they deal with the clients. Value the client, value the taxpayer, like us and URA, but those who are out there, value your clients. When your clients come to you, you have got to be appreciative that the client has come. But also, get ideas from people. Don't think that you know it all. Seek out for those who have succeeded. But also, you can read a lot. Because you see, when you read, you get a lot of experiences from people. And that will make you, and you'll be able to identify how some people failed, how they succeeded. So that, when you put them together, I'm encouraging you people out there, the young people who are coming up, with those things. I'm not giving you a foolproof prescription, but those are the fundamentals that will really help you achieve whatever your dreams are. That's what I would say, Joshua.
My name is Joshua Nyonchima. It was great having you on A Moment with Caesar.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Joshua.
Wow.
It has been a pleasure. Thank you for hosting me. Yeah.
To God be the glory.
Uganda Revenue Authority, developing Uganda together.